This is Ivy Unleashed, a Gold Ivy production. Welcome back to Ivy Unleashed. We are so happy you're here today because you probably clicked on this title to stay up to date or because you're in a rut. Mm-hmm. You're feeling like you're stuck. You're feeling like you need a little something to help you get motivated, get some inspiration, and we are your girls to help you with this.
Amen, sister. We're so grateful you're here because, like you, we've been in a rut once or twice. I've dealt with depression. I still get my fair share of feeling just stuck and overwhelmed. And the good news is there's a lot of things you can do to help yourself get out. We're going to share some tips with you today. And we're going to leave you feeling a little more energized, inspired, hopeful.
There's that misconception when someone has a podcast or a social presence that, wow, they just are always good to go. Mm-hmm. And it's just not true at all. I mean, we both have these cycles of negative emotions that come through. We all have our patterns. You know, I was just thinking about anytime I go anywhere and come back home, I feel like I'm in this rut again because there's all this laundry and my house is a mess and everybody's tired. And to kind of get yourself back in that routine and back on fire with what you know you need, it takes just like, it feels like so much effort to get back there. And you just feel like, I don't
have it in me.
Yeah.
It feels like getting up and even just taking a shower. Like if you've ever felt like one more thing is just going to send you over the edge. You know, I'm not a mom, but I can relate where it's like if one more person just needs something out of me as a business partner, as a entrepreneur, as a coach, it's like, and that is your sign that you got to pour into you. Like you need some love. Mm-hmm. Being a human is hard. Mm-hmm. Not feeling good is hard. Being a mom is hard. Like these are not easy things. But if you felt it before, getting in that momentum, you feel like you're in your groove and you're in a headspace where you can tackle one more thing. Mm-hmm. You've got that flow. You're back in the zone. And that's what we want to help you get back to today, because once you're in that zone, things feel a little easier. Mm-hmm. You feel a little lighter, feel a little happier. And it doesn't take much to get you back into feeling like that. But when you're completely depleted, it feels like nothing is going to help you get out of that rut.
Well, and I think too, when you're in it and you're just hating how you feel, I think just recognizing like, okay, I've been here before. This isn't new. This isn't the worst it's ever been. Like, if I'm really honest with myself, this happens every once in a while. I do think it's part of just the human experience of being able to be grateful for the moments that are really great. You know, and so sometimes it's just like some acceptance, like, okay, I'm having a tough time. And I think the first thing that I think anybody needs to do is just be honest with yourself, right? Like, okay, I'm struggling today. Okay, I do not need to pass this energy on to anybody else because this is just me. I'm off, right? And so I think about it with 5 people in a household, how contagious that energy is. And it is important to tell your people how you're doing, but not in a way that like blames them or makes them feel like they did anything to set you off. It's like, okay, well, you're clearly upset. You know, like to one of my kids, you're clearly upset because you forgot about your homework last night. Let's not take it out on your sister, or let's not take it out on your brother, you know? And I think we as adults need to do that too, is, okay, I've got some crappy energy right now. And it's because I'm tired. It's because I just got back from a trip. It's because I have not been following through with what I know I want to be doing. And I'm frustrated with myself, you know, whatever it may be. A lot of times it really is just lack of sleep. And the lack of sleep could be from a lot of things. It could be because you're not going to bed early enough. You're having electronics on too much.
You're too traveling out of your routine.
You have a baby. You are really anxious at night and you're having trouble falling asleep or having high quality sleep because you haven't managed your stress throughout the day. What Brooke and I really want to do is, you know, you, the listener, we want to think about tips that you might need, but everybody's different. So we want to give a lot of them, of just little things to consider that could really just help you get to that next step. Because it's really all about momentum, showing yourself, okay, I can do this tiny thing. I can drink water throughout the day. I'm going to focus on just hitting this number of water because it's one thing I can do. It doesn't involve feelings. It doesn't involve a whole lot of effort. And it can really help your energy. It can really help how you feel. It can help your mood. It helps everything in your body work more efficiently. and clear out some of the toxins. So like if you're feeling low energy, it's just one of those things that just ask yourself if you've had. And it's something that like, I am not naturally thirsty ever. I've really tried to create this habit this year and last year of drinking water. I don't know why it's so hard.
It's hard for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like, you're not alone. And it's so important. If you start to just drink more water, you will notice so many symptoms disappear. And the key is to drink before you're thirsty, because if you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated. And I was listening to a podcast with Dr. Amy Shaw. She's on Ed Milet, and she's a gut health expert, and I'm obsessed with her. If you know me, I love my gut health. And she was saying how there is no research that shows 8 glasses of water is the key number. There's nothing. The real answer is when your pee is light yellow. Is how you know if you're hydrated. Because me and a 300-pound man are going to need way different amounts of water, of electrolytes, of things to keep us hydrated. So just a little snippet of if you are dehydrated, what color is your pee? Get it to be a light yellow. And drink before you're thirsty, because that is one of the biggest signs of if you're lethargic, if you have low energy, you're probably dehydrated. So pump up your water. Start your day with a glass of water. If you're drinking coffee, if you're drinking anything that's going to dehydrate you, you got to drink even more water.
And I keep thinking too, when you're in this rut in space, like you don't feel good about yourself. You probably don't feel like you look good. You probably don't feel like you're the type of person that anybody wants around because you have bad energy, you know? And so this is something that doesn't involve other people. You don't have to talk to anybody. You don't have to do anything for anybody. Even, you know, it's the tiniest thing you can do for yourself. I feel like it's just a really easy grab of something that can help you out.
Yeah. And when you have to go get water, you're moving your body. And the fastest way to change our energy is to radically shift our physiology. The way we change our body affects our psychology, how we think, our mental health. And so you have to change the state that you're in. So if you are moping around, if you're in bed, if you're feeling depressed, you got to move. You got to change up your environment. You got to get out of your bed. And speaking from someone who has been depressed, who it's been so hard to get out of bed, I understand how hard it is. So something like a shower when you're depressed seems like so much work. So a lot of times what I would do is I'd say, okay, tomorrow's a new day. Wipe the clean slate. I'm going to give myself this time to sleep, have a good night's sleep, whatever I need. If I am exhausted, if I'm feeling just out of it, clean slate, morning, I'm putting my phone in the bathroom. I'm getting back to my morning routine. And I know exactly what that morning routine is. I think having clarity on when you are feeling good, what is it about it that is making you feel good? Are you getting up at the same time every morning? Are you getting sun? Are you moving your body? Are you eating certain things? Are you speaking to certain things? For me, it's getting out of my house. Like, I need a change of routine. I need to get out of my house. When I've spent way too much time in my house, I feel like the walls are just caving in. And I'm like, oh, my bed looks really comfy. Let's turn on the TV. And even though I know these things aren't great for me, they're comfortable. They're easy. They're simple. They might not be the best choice, but in that moment when I'm not feeling great, they're what I want to resort back to. So having clarity on what makes you feel good, so that if you need that night to just be, that next morning you can wake up and have your system in place of what is that first thing I need to do so that I can get that momentum going.
Yeah, I think that just the power to have like a restart of thinking, okay, I'm going to get to bed. And, you know, when I wake up, I will have a lot more capacity to even know what to do for myself. Sometimes I just think it's too much to even think about what the next day will look like. I think just getting your butt to bed, like knowing, and I have this conversation with a lot of my friends, like if I'm feeling off or something, like we'll just say, I just need to start over tomorrow, you know? And it's so powerful because it is a fresh start. You can have a brand new day tomorrow. And I think convincing yourself that today sucked. I sucked. The whole thing sucked. I have no energy for anything. I've got to give myself the permission to start over tomorrow. And you said wiping the slate clean. And I think that's really important to think about when your brain feels like it's foggy, there's too much, you're anxious, you're feeling depressed, you're feeling, or maybe you are those things, right? And I think when we think about how our brain is working, and I think we should acknowledge how our brain is working so that we can use that as leverage for the future. So when you feel like what's happening in your brain is holding you back. Let's say you're feeling super anxious, or you do have anxiety and you're feeling bad about that, or you have ADHD, or you have, something that you feel like holds you back. Kind of using that as leverage. What about this is a superpower? Okay, I'm feeling really anxious right now. I've got a million thoughts going through my mind. Cool, let's write them all down. Let's write them all down, and then tomorrow when I have a fresh start, I'll get them organized. I'm going to use the fact that my brain is going wild with ideas, big ideas, because I have ADHD and my squirrel. I'm going to write those things down. And then when I have the capacity, I'm going to use it. Okay, I'm feeling really depressed. What am I actually thinking about that I'm feeling super depressed over? I suck at this. I'm not doing this. I don't like this relationship. I have no energy. Write them down, because then those are the things that when you do have a little bit more energy, you can start troubleshooting. You can talk to a friend about it. You can bring it to your therapy appointment. I think sometimes what's happening in our brain is so overwhelming and we don't know what direction to go. But I think getting it out on paper, in your phone, somewhere where like you can see it so that you can do something about it.
It takes its power away. If it's stuck in your head, it's just on loop, going and going and going and going. And one of the most powerful things I heard that helped with my anxiety, my depression, just overwhelm, was your brain is not a notepad. You have a million thoughts. And although you don't have to believe every thought you have, it still is creating drama in your head, in your brain, and what we think we believe and what we believe we feel. And so get it out of your head. My system looks like I have my phone on me 24/7. I have my notepad. I put it on my phone. If I'm not journaling, in the morning, I like to get everything out of my head. But throughout the day, 1,000,005 things come up. So I get it out. And then I also have a practice where at the end of the day, I pull out anything that's on my phone and I put it into my Excel sheet. That's my time management system. Focus that we have, is our template we follow. That has a daily time block and a weekly time block. So I have this system. So I'm extremely proactive. And when I realize, and when a weekend happens or I'm not, sticking up to it, it gets overwhelming. So it's like, how can I be proactive versus reactive? Like, I have 1,000,005 things I want to do. No, I don't, because I already have this system where every day I'm doing a brain dump. It is so powerful. And I invite everyone to get a system that can help you empty your brain.
And I think too, when you're in a rut and you're really low, a lot of the thoughts we have are really limiting. They're really brutal. I'm bad at that. I'm never going to be able to, I suck at working out regularly, whatever. So if that's this, let's say that's the scenario where you're telling yourself, gosh, like I keep saying I'm going to work out 5 days a week and I keep not doing it, even that thought, write it down, because there's so many exercises you can do with these thoughts. Like, they're brutal thoughts, but get them out. Like Brooke said, your brain is not a notepad to hold these things. And when you get them out, then you can address them. And so let's say that's your thought. I suck at working out, or I never follow through with exercise, let's say. And then in the morning, when you feel like you have the capacity, or a couple days from now, whenever it is, you can write down in the next column. So you make a couple columns, and the next one can be the complete opposite thought of that. I crush my exercise routine every week. I exercise every week, 5 days a week, or whatever it is that you feel like you really want to do with exercise. And you put that belief that you want to believe. And even just seeing those opposites can get your brain thinking of like, oh, I want to feel that. I want that to be my new feeling. And even if it feels super far-fetched, you can just see kind of how low you were the day before, a couple days before, where you want to be. And then that's where the micro goals can come in.
Well, and you notice how you feel. When you read that out loud of, I could never work out, how does that feel in your body? It doesn't feel good. Versus, I'm on fire with my workouts, I'm moving my body every day. Like, even just thinking that and saying that out loud, you feel a little jolt in your body. And what we think in our head, right? Yes, it creates how we feel, but also what is being placed on us in our environment and how we feel. The people we hang out with, the social media we're consuming, the TV we're consuming, how is that making you feel? Because you don't even realize the effect that that's having. And so if you feel like writing it out is just too much, which I've totally been there, right? Shower feels too much, everything feels too much, but your phone is next to you. What are you consuming? For me, when I was so depressed and it took so much energy to get out of bed, how I finally had the energy was I was listening to Tony Robbins. I was listening to people who had healed their bodies. I was starting to overwhelm my brain with positivity in a way that I believed it. It started to give me that energy, and it gave me those little tips of, okay, I could put my phone across the room. Okay, I could enroll in this program because I know this is really what I need. You know, start consuming things that give you hope and inspire you.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes I think it's turning it off. You know, we think, oh, there's too much in my brain. I gotta turn off my brain. I'm gonna go to my phone. I'm gonna go to TV. I'm gonna watch this whole series. And I'd just invite you to try not to do that. When you are this low, there is no study that has ever been produced that tells you if you are in a rut that you should watch a ton of TV or you should sit on any social media. All of the studies, all of them, will tell you if you're going to do it, follow people that inspire you. But if you are in a really low place, the best thing you can do is turn it off so you can get quality sleep, so you can focus on what you specifically need, and so that where you turn for support is someone that can actually help you. It's so important. If you are low, if you are in a rut that you feel like, I have nothing, you have people that can help you from there. And they don't want you sitting there. They don't want you staying there. And you wouldn't want your friends to sit there either. You would want them to tell you. And so put yourself in your friend's shoes. Okay, what would my best friend want me to do right now? They would want me to tell them I'm crying in my shower and I don't even know why. You know, like you're a human being and these things happen. And I would invite you to allow them to happen. Allow the shitty feeling through your body. Allow yourself to understand where it's coming from. Allow yourself to be honest with how crappy you feel so that you can move through it instead of shoving it down, because you are going to explode. You are going to get sick. You are going to get run down. It is too much to not address how you feel. And you have resources to help you. And we are here to help you with these small tips, right? Whenever you're ready. But feel that shitty feeling and try and understand yourself so that you don't have to keep feeling this way.
Right. We're not telling you you're never going to feel shitty because, sorry, spoiler, you are. You're a human. What we are telling you is it's natural for us to want to shut down so that we can create some space, right? When it's so overwhelming, we want to just lay in bed and binge out on TV or whatever, is because we feel like that's creating the space we need. But it's really filling that space with something that isn't serving us. So when you want to get some space, you know, people we talk to that we coach every day, it's, I just wish I had some more time for myself. So why aren't we building that time in? How much time can you dedicate to having some time where you can process your emotions, where you can just be 10 minutes, 5 minutes? Like, we think this is a big ask, but this is your life we're talking about. You've got to do this for hopefully a really long time. So you have to build some systems that are going to work for you. And if you're a woman listening, you know, we have a cycle, and that's something that we're going to talk about in future episodes. We're super excited. But this idea of syncing your cycle, because based on how our hormones go, they drop and we get tired and we need to pour into us. We need to eat different foods. We need to move our bodies differently.
Sleep.
We need more sleep. Exactly. And so figuring out, tracking your cycle and knowing where you're at so that you can meet your body, you know, not taking on these massive projects when you're on your period, because, whoa, that just feels like a lot. You know, meeting yourself where you're at is such an awesome way to kind of biohack your energy.
And I think a lot of my clients, it's tough to make these shifts happen we really want. And when I am talking with someone, I really want you to visualize what that looks like. And so having some visualizations to help yourself out in this rut, to flip this rut to this negative, dark energy, this low space, change it into something else that's more uplifting. So we've talked about you are this caterpillar going into this nasty chrysalis, right? And you are going through this shit and you are figuring out how you feel and what you don't like and what you don't want so that you can bloom and you can become this butterfly, or you're a flower and you're blooming, or you pull back the
Arrow.
You pull back the arrow before you let it fly and hit the target, or however you want the slingshot, right? Sometimes we got to pull back. We've got to figure out what energy am I even putting in my circle? Do I even like who I'm hanging out with? Do I like my job? Do I like my roles in my home? Like sometimes taking that step back or retreating into your home. Like for me, I need to retreat into my home before I can go socially. Is like, I need to know who I am, what conversations I want to be a part of, where, like, your time is so precious. Stop giving it away to things that you don't even want to be doing, right? To get centered on, I feel like shit. Let's figure out why so that I can really bloom into the person I want to be and have the energy for whatever it is I want to be doing.
Yeah. It's amazing too how many people we speak with that don't know what they like. They don't know what makes them happy, what brings them joy. And that's what I would invite you to think about too, is what are the things that you love that give you energy, and what are the things that take your energy? And then you audit your time. How am I spending my time? Am I incorporating these things that make me happy, that bring me joy, bring me energy into my calendar? Like for me, I know I need to see friends at least once a week, or I will not. I will hide in my house. And I think it's like a defense mechanism of feeling so crappy for so long that it's like one more thing. It just feels like it's taking energy. But I know once I get there, if I'm around the right people, it's giving me energy. And so I've identified what gives me energy, what totally takes my energy. And along with that, we've talked about travel, and yes, travel can take your energy, but it also is something that really excites us and we look forward to. And we know that we have to be a little more careful when we get back and plan a little more so we take care of ourselves. But having something to look forward to is huge. If you are feeling in a rut right now, do you have something to look forward to? Like something this weekend, something tonight, whether it's a bubble bath, putting those things in your calendar. They don't have to be extravagant trips, but it can be this self-care time, these things that really give you energy, because that's what's going to make you feel better.
And we're talking about how your brain works, right? And it wants rewards. And so to convince your brain that the TV is not the reward, right? Because the reason why it feels like a reward is because it's easy, and the brain likes easy, right? So then we're like, no, I do want all this does feel good to just sit here because it is easy, right? So we need to retrain our brain with these things. And Brooke and I are going to go through a ton of tips of ours that you can apply. And I'd encourage you to think of them as a reward because it will make you feel better. So let's think about energy, feeling better. Let's train our brain that these things will become rewards.
Yeah. And we're not telling you can't watch TV. I love TV. I do. I really do. But I know myself well enough that I need some boundaries around when I'm watching TV, what I'm watching, and what that works. Like I cannot watch TV right up till bed. I've learned that. And I love myself enough to get quality sleep. And so I'm doing this not because I'm punishing myself for not being able to watch TV. It's like, nope, okay, I know that this is going to help me get a good night's sleep and make me feel on fire and give me energy. And that's what I'm after, is that energy.
So tips for getting out of the rut. I was thinking about things, and every single thing I thought of started with an S. Or I could spin it to start with an S. I'm like, what is this? I don't know why.
What is S giving you right now?
S is giving me satisfaction.
Oh!
I don't know.
Okay.
Sassiness?
I was going to say sassy energy. I feel like when I'm like sassy and having fun, it gives me energy. Yeah. So I like it.
Okay.
All right, let's get to your S's.
So S's I put down: sip on water, sleep, support, sunlight, stay away from substances, even though you think that might be helpful. It's going to bring your energy down. Start over, shower, stop scrolling, start small, and seek rewards.
Oh,
what did I miss?
It doesn't start with an S, but I would say music.
Oh,
music always pumps me up. Having like your go-to song, even when I'm feeling like I like want to sit in the rut. Sometimes we don't want to get out of the rut. Have you ever noticed that, where you're like, everything is just hard and I don't want to feel good. I don't want to pump myself up. Maybe it's just me. I don't know.
Music though can really help. And
music
whenever I'm
switches
like,
it.
yeah, whenever I'm really low, like my lowest, it won't be like something full of energy. I'm like, I need worship music. I need to like connect to my faith and recognize I'm lucky to be alive right now, because that's about all I can feel grateful for is just like the fact that I'm alive. Thank you, God. I'm going to start there.
Yeah.
And we'll see if I can feel better.
Another S I would say is stretching. A lot of people exercise when they're in a rut. Just, whoa, that feels like way too much, like getting outside and moving. But you need to start moving. And so what can be simpler, another S, is just even in your bed, start stretching. Start getting some movement. Put on a guided meditation, a body scan, another S, because that is going to help get the juices flowing. It's going to help you tune into your body, how you're feeling. We talked in our last episode about motivation and dopamine, and how when you get completely depleted of dopamine, you feel like you're in a rut. And so don't let yourself get to that point. And if you do, because you will, because you're human, having these little things that do give you energy, like the sun, slowly moving, journaling, getting things out of your body, humming. Why humming? Because you activate your vagus nerve. And our gut and our brain are connected through the gut-brain axis. And so what it does is it triggers your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest. And when we're anxious, when we're feeling in a rut, a lot of times our fight, flight, or freeze response is activated. So doing these things that are going to calm you down, even though it kind of feels contrary because you're slowing down and you want to be energized, you want to tap into pull that arrow back.
Pull the slingshot back before you can fly.
Yeah. And viewing rest as progress. You know, a lot of times when we're in a rut, it's like, all I want to do is sleep, but I need to be moving. I need to be doing this. I need to be making progress. And your body's telling you, hey, we just need to slow down. Like I've learned in the last 5 years with my healing journey that when my body is craving sleep and rest, I got to give my body and my brain the rest that it needs. And when I do, even like 30 minutes, I'm like, oh, okay. So I've tuned into myself enough where I know when, okay, I got to pull that arrow back. I got to relax. I got to nourish my body.
Like grace in that. Like, no, you feel like you shouldn't. You've got too much to do. The house is a mess. But like, I am depleted and it's okay if I need rest. It's okay.
Yeah. I've got nothing to give. And what I do give is going to be shit.
And it doesn't make you lazy that you need rest. We all need it. And being a human, being a parent, traveling with all of these moving parts, being away from your home base, those things can really deplete you. And I think it's just like the honest truth. You don't have to feel bad about it. You don't have to get home and go 100 miles an hour. I think we carry so much. We do so much. Oh my gosh. The last time I came home from a trip, I was like, it's all too much. We have too many things going on. It's just too much. And we pack it and we pack it in and we pack it in.
And sometimes getting out of your environment makes you realize like, holy shit, I'm doing way too much for a human.
Of course we have ruts. Of course this is happening. Think of all you're doing. Like nobody's lazy. We're all humans. So it's too much. There's too much stimulation. There's too much going on. And this is going to happen and it's okay. And I think just accepting you're there, taking what you can to do, filling that tank back up so that you can get back to being you, but give yourself some grace in the midst of it. Try what you can, but just don't be so hard on yourself when you're in this space.
Yeah. And when you are in this space and you do start to, get that momentum back, you're doing a little bit at a time, you're celebrating those moments because like Andrea said earlier, it's the dopamine. That's how the brain works. That's what we want. And at the end of the day, what happiness is, Tony Robbins says it, and I fully believe it, and I've seen it, is happiness is progress. Everything in nature, everything is growing. And if it's not growing, it's dying. So when you're making progress, you celebrate that. That's what you want. It doesn't matter how small of progress it is. Progress is progress. And sometimes viewing rest as progress is what you need. Sometimes hearing so many tips can be overwhelming. And so pick one thing that spoke to you in this episode. And I hope if there's one thing you heard, it's that we need rest. We need sleep. It doesn't make you weak. You can still be a kick-ass mom, a kick-ass entrepreneur, chase your dreams, but you need the energy to do so. And to have that energy, you need sleep. You need to pour into you.
and rest and grace, right? Allow yourself to accept that you're in a rut and it's going to happen again. It doesn't make you any negative word that you have in your mind because you're feeling like you're in a rut. This happens. It'll happen again. You kick ass. You deserve to feel good. And so like Brooke said, just take what you need and leave the rest behind. And then if you need more ideas, come back again. And speaking of ideas, we always like to leave you with ideas. 3 gold stars. If you haven't got enough tips, here's 3 more. Number 1, identify your energy givers and your energy takers.
Number 2, set a boundary around what is needed for you to get adequate rest.
And 3, prioritize an energy giver every day.
You deserve to feel on fire. You deserve the energy. You deserve to not stay in a rut. And your piece of gold today comes from Jen Sincero. She says, you can't do anything if you try to do everything.
This is Gold Ivy signing off.
Listen to your truth and go chase your gold.